2024. Today is the fourth Friday meeting of the OHDSI Phenotype Development Evaluation Workgroup. This is our OKR. We have three main objectives that we are making progress this year. One is the enhance the science of phenotyping and best practices. That includes two main key results. One is the paper on the OHDSI Phenotype Library, and to make progress on the incorporating measurement errors in background incidence rate estimation. The leads for the phenotype paper is Juan Banda and me, and then for measurement errors is Jamie Weaver. The second objective is community engagement and educational outreach. We have made progress, significant progress here already. The Phenotype February initiative achieved the key result. Here we have done the 3 demos that as part of this key result. What is pending is the new submission flow for the Phenotype Library. In terms of the third objective, we have 3 refreshments that is currently pending, and the submission tool, and then an idea on objective failure criteria for cohort definitions. That's a research goal. In terms of agenda, I want to see if there's any newcomers and anybody new to the call that would like to introduce themselves. I see Julia. Are you new to the call?
Oh, no, this is, you said William?
No, Julia, maybe.
Oh.
Julia?
Oh.
Hello, this is actually my second time joining. I'm the new data analyst at the pharmacy department at Montefiore.
Oh, yes, you introduced yourself last time. Thank you.
Last week, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Okay, so recap of the prior conversations. So the OHDSI Phenotype Library paper, that was Q2 2024. I have not made any progress or worked on it since our last conversation. Juan and I need to touch base and require feedback. I have not seen any other feedback or activities from the community. So that this just needs some focus time from me and Juan to make progress here. We just haven't had time to work on it.
Hey,
Jamie,
Malcolm,
go ahead.
may I suggest something? Because we submitted the phenotype February paper to AMIA, and I'm assuming we're gonna get accepted for the abstract or hopefully the full presentation. But maybe it would be good time to have that library paper in. Let's aim to have it in preprint by November. So when we give the presentation on the phenotype February work, we can basically disseminate also the full documentation of the library, because it's very related, just to keep our OHDSI phenotype tools up to the public. So maybe you guys can aim to have it in preprint by November in AMIA, so we can take our session, assuming it will be accepted, as a way to make sure that the larger community is aware of it.
Okay. Any other feedback on that topic? Right. So Jamie Weaver is not on the call here. This is the incorporating measurement error into background incidence rate. There was a few additional topics that were discussed. Ben Hamlin from NCQA wanted to work with Jamie to discuss colorectal cancer, that the progress that NCQA has made in terms of HEDIS measure and the importance of stratification by age, race, ethnicity. Those Ben Hamlin's not on the call either. Okay. All right. Any topics to talk about this one? Right. The last one is the topic that we wanted to talk about was the Johns Hopkins University's myositis network study. Johns Hopkins University has made good progress, and we discussed in length about how to run a OHDSI network study. And one of the items that was on my plate and Ben Martin's plate was to create a OHDSI network, OHDSI studies repository, so as to share code with collaborators. There is an OHDSI studies repository that Ben is beginning to manage. There is a branch that I just spent some time building some study package. The core definitions that are in the Atlas demo has been copied here. I think the action items that is pending right now is to create a code diagnostic study package that could be run. I'm having some technical difficulties that I just need to look into why it's failing. Just haven't had the focus time to do that. Joel has already run the fee evaluator, and the results are available, and we have to reconcile the core definitions that are in the Atlas public versus the core definitions that Joel used, so as to bring them all together into one location. So those were the two action items that are pending right now. Last week, I think Ben and I spent some time building this. We had some difficulties, and then I've been very busy at work, so I haven't had focus time for this. But today, just before this meeting, I spent some time and at least grab the definitions that Ben and Chris Macaulay have been building and put that into GitHub repository so that we have a static copy of it that can persist. Ben, Will, any comments or questions and discussions?
So one question kind of us on the general flow. So we want to announce this on the OHDSI forums, and we have a drafted forum post that's ready to go. Do you think that we should draft that now, upload that now with just the note that the GitHub repository is still in development, and post our protocol and forum post, or do you think we should wait until the repository is up and running? We want to weigh the benefits of giving potential data partners as much time as possible to get involved with the cost of not having complete code once we make the announcement.
Yeah, I think so. If you divide that into multiple steps, I think the first step is obviously solicitation of partners, and that includes some other conversations about what is the nature of the collaborations, what is the type of input you could get from your partners, so on and so forth, like that we had conversation that we had. We talked to my colleague before. I think that can happen independent. That notification and soliciting partnership from data partners or scientific partners can happen independent of the code repository being mature.
Okay.
The code repository being mature, this takes seconds. For some odd reason, it's taking longer, and I just haven't had a time to think through and solve it. It's probably some simple thing that's holding it back. So I wouldn't. So in your post, if you would just say, "Are you interested? Give us your name, and we'll just talk and shake hands." I think you can do that for sure. And in your follow-up post, once you have that list, you can give them direct instructions that says, "Here it is. Go to this folder. Execute this. Here's your thing."
Okay.
And also, and also, like in this case, the team are actually they're opening it to the public, but they already there is kind of a targeted collaborators that have been talking to us and Columbia and Stanford. But it is like the issue of there's two things. One is getting the code to run in these other places, particularly knowing who's going to be able to do it in Columbia, and Anna is facilitating that, and in Stanford working with Evan, which might have some technical issues, especially with fee evaluator and stuff. And the other part is the governance part. So we do need even in J&J, we do need I assume the post will have like a documentation that looks like similar to a protocol that we can use it to put it in our system to get all the governance working. And I assume both Columbia and Stanford will also require that. So we will need that even if the repo itself is not ready, we will need that to get our governance in place.
Yeah.
Okay, and I know that governance for some institutions, like at Hopkins, we have a notoriously slow IRB process. So some data partners, us included, will need a good amount of lead time for that. Although I know some like Stanford, they have a more umbrella approval from their IRB that lets them run packages more quickly. So that will be dependent on the data partner. So we do have the complete protocol written kind of on the OHDSI template. So we'll include that with the post. So the post will basically include everything except the code, everything except the code in the repository, and then notes that that's still in development. Because even Gotham, once you finish yours, we'll still need to refine the study package quite a bit. We'll still need to add the data sharing package. And reporting elements and that kind of thing. So it won't be ready to run for some time, even once we get the core structure in place.
Yep. So that makes sense. I think if you divide it into these multiple steps things of the logistics and agreements, the approval process and governance, and then the technical execution, you can definitely start on the first two.
All right, perfect. We will target posting that probably then Monday morning. That way it's a fresh post for the week for people to visit.
Yep.
Yeah, great. Thank you. That was our main question, was should we go ahead and post? So I think that answers that.
Yep. Okay. Anything else that we need to talk about? Has any thoughts? If not, I can close the meeting and see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, the one thing I just wanna keep it as an agenda item so we don't miss follow up on it. Is
Okay.
Our team, Jamie, Anna, and I has just worked on few phenotypes that I'm hoping I didn't yet talk to Anna and Jamie, but I'm assuming that they will be fine with submitting them to the OHDSI Phenotype Library. And I just want to make sure that we don't we don't just forget about submitting to the Phenotype Library. So yeah, so we just remember last year when we did how often we have to process a whole bunch of phenotypes to the library, and that's because we were not doing it like on the spot, and we did it all at bunch. So I just want to make sure that we follow up and submit the ones, the few phenotypes we worked on to the Phenotype Library. And then that made me think about the Darwin colleagues that we talked at one point about make sure that their work, at least concept set or something, we end up catching it in the community library as well. And I know that's more straightforward than Anna, Jamie, and myself just submit to the library because they have their own governance, which is might be hard. But we never finished the conversation of how we're going to make sure we captured their contribution
Right.
or their work. We did talk about, we're assuming that at one point, all the work they do in terms of the network studies they do goes in the public, and we were hoping that maybe we can get those repos out, like we can get the phenotypes out of the repos, but I don't think we figured out how to do it. There is going to be, and Anna probably knows more about this, but there is going to be in the symposium, there's going to be a whole Darwin tutorial, and it's going to be particularly focused about Darwin team development in terms of our packages and tools and all of that. So maybe that is actually a good touch point for us to learn more about how they're doing their work. And I know that in principle, they want things to be in public. Yeah, because at one point the Darwin itself will go away, but hopefully the community will not go away. So we want to keep those phenotypes. And they're having their own library. So whatever, like just figuring out how we can capture Darwin's work. They might even in their tutorial talk about the library. So maybe we can just like keep it till the tutorial, like symposium time. Because we don't want to.
We remember. Do you remember the time that we had a conversation with Darwin, and then we had I think Danny had a follow-up.
Yeah, we never completed. We ended up saying we'll meet up in the symposium and figure it out, and that was last year, and we never had the chance.
Okay.
But by now they have figured out their library, I believe. Because at that they were still building. They were building a library, and so that's and it is part of the paper they published. They don't talk about the library, but they talk that following the process they published, there is a curation of everything they do, referring it to as a library. That's why I remember, like when I read the paper, I was like, oh, we just need to make sure that we just basically capture that work.
Got it. On the same breath, I remember the Department of Veterans Affairs folks at VA Cipher reached out to me via email, asking for creating a process where they can take the core definitions in the OHDSI Phenotype Library and make that available for VA OMOP researchers. And we had met with them at the AMIA 2023 conference. And that was one of the action items that was discussed and agreed on. They as part of that collaboration, they've asked for agenda time with us. I think one of the May meetings. So in the upcoming meetings, there will be an update from the VA Cipher. I'll make that announcement in the OHDSI community forum post. So that's a good thing. That's another example of a collaboration that involves the OHDSI Phenotype Library.
Yeah, and then we never finished. We never got the one from, what's their name? Andrew.
Oh, Tufts. We spent some time working with them, and no, not Tufts. It was N3C.
And they owe us we eventually agreed that they sent you a full, basically Excel sheet of code lists, right? Wasn't that, or some form structured code lists?
Yes. Yes. I do not know what to do about that. I don't know what's.
Maybe it just needs a follow-up email to Andrew copying the main technical person, which I don't remember, if they're still interested in submitting.
Right. I don't know. Yeah. Does anybody know if N3C is still active? Is it? Well, it was very COVID focused, but then did they change their focus?
Yes, I think they're definitely still active. I think the focus now is Alzheimer's and maybe something else, but they're trying to continue their work with a new focus. And Chris Shute mentioned Alzheimer's, and that was like maybe 6 months ago. So I don't have a very recent update, but that was the last I heard.
Okay. I wonder if this thought just came to me. I don't have the details. One idea could be the fundings and priorities may have changed.
I think they're trying to focus like on all diseases, because I'm in a fellowship program trying to utilize the N3C data and to like come up with all kinds of thoughts and hypotheses. So yeah, so maybe not only Alzheimer's. Yeah. it's an NIH funded fellowship project.
Nice. Okay. All right. Anything else to cap? All right. So I'll take this action item regarding OHDSI Phenotype Library. So Aza, Jamie, Hannah, if you guys decide to submit, we do not yet have a submission tool, so just work with me and I will get it to the library. Darwin will figure out, maybe send an email to Danny asking if there is an update or something to talk about. We'll get an update from the VA Cipher folks in the upcoming call, which is great. And then I will send a communication to Andrew asking if there is a need to follow up on this particular topic.
One last thing, Anna, are you aware, because you're closely working with Patrick for the symposium, are you aware of any activity that will require like the Phenotype Library as part of the process?
Symposium European or US?
No, US, because last year Patrick suddenly decided on how often we had to like work crazy to get everything, all the phenotypes he wanted in the library. Are we aware of any like? Okay.
No, I don't think so. We're gonna have a vocabulary / phenotyping tutorial, and for that, we're not gonna focus on phenotypes to begin with or phenotypes in the library. So I'm like 95% sure that we will not need phenotype library. But of course, there is 5%.
Yeah. Okay.
There's always 5%, and then to act on that 5%, we only need 5 days.
yeah, pretty much.
All right.
Okay, and at one point, Gautam, we need to remember to talk about what we, our group, gonna do during the symposium, because we did book half-day workshop. We're still in April, but so we still definitely have time. But also last year we jammed everything last minute.
Yeah, I think, yeah, that's right. So last year, and most of the times we have focused on foundational topics. Should this year go more advanced? Like the last year was, how can we publish using the lessons that we learned during phenotype development and evaluation? We use examples, and one of the potential results is the progress that Dr. Macaulay and the team are making. Yeah, we should think about what we want to do. Yep. All right, everybody. I think this concludes the meeting. Have a good rest of the weekend.
30 minutes
Thank you.
back.
Have a nice
Thanks,
day.
everybody.
See you in 2 weeks.
Right.